Hi, this is Kelly from paperbeadrollers.com, and today we're going to take the scalloped paper bead template and we're going to make some beautiful flower bud necklace and earrings with it. Come on, let's get started. The tools you'll need for this project are some jewelry pliers, a set of 1.5mm one-step loopers, or some round nose pliers, and a tube of jewelry glue like E6000. I also recommend a toothpick or a skewer for applying the glue to the bead caps. The supplies you need include some chain. Now I'll be using two types of chain, but you can use one if you'd like. I'm using a smaller chain for dangling the beads, and then I'm using this thicker figure 8 chain for the necklace. Now I'm doing this because I want a prettier, fancier look to the main chain and a more delicate chain for the dangles. I'm using 11 scalloped paper beads in different sizes. Now I'll put a link to the video tutorial for making these beads in the upper corner of this video. You can purchase the template for these beads at paperbeadrollers.com. I'm going to pair the paper beads with some small pearl beads. Now I have two sizes here, 2mm and 4mm. I'll cap my larger paper beads with these beautiful silver bead caps that mimic leaves. It enhances the look of the scallops to make these beads reminiscent of flower buds. You can purchase these bead caps at paperbeadrollers.com, and I'll put the link in the description below. You'll also need some flat head pins. Now I'm using a 2-inch length. And you'll need some small jump rings. Now these are 4mm and they're oval jump rings, something that I've had in my stash for a while and have just been looking for the right project for. These mimic the shape of the beads in the chain and will help the piece look more smooth and cohesive. Now the first thing we'll do is glue the bead caps to the beads. Now E6000 is very sticky and I recommend wearing gloves while doing this. I did not use gloves and I ended up with sticky fingers. So learn from my mistake. I'm using a toothpick to apply the E6000 to the inside of the bead caps. Then I'm using a baby wipe to press the bead cap down onto the bead, and it also wipes away any excess glue that seeps out along the edges. You could use nylon coated pliers to press the bead cap down, but I'm just using my fingers because I don't want to squish or flatten the bead cap petals at all. And these petals are pliable. They move easily with just a little bit of force. Now there are two reasons to use the toothpick with the E6000. First, so you can get the glue into the bead cap petals, but also because this glue is in a metal tube, and when you squeeze a metal tube, it stays squeezed, and more glue comes out than you meant to use. So I have learned to squeeze very gently and use a toothpick to apply this glue. Now I'm going to put together my bead groupings. First, I put a pearl on the head pin. The pearl not only adds to the look, but since paper beads tend to have larger holes, it helps to ensure that the paper bead is going to stay securely on the head pin. Then I add the paper bead, and I'll use my one-step looper tool to make the loop. Now you can do this by hand with round nose pliers, but I love this looper tool. It creates the perfect loop every time, quick and easy. I usually have them in stock at paperbeadrollers.com. Now that all of the larger beads are done, I'm going to put my smaller beads on head pins. And as I was filming, I realized that the 2mm pearls I chose have too small of a hole to fit on my head pins. So I substituted these silver faceted beads. We'll add a bit of dimension to the piece, I think. Sometimes mistakes are the best thing. So I'm putting together the smaller bead groups just like the larger ones. A silver bead, the paper bead, and then putting in the loop. Now that all of the beads are grouped, I've laid them out in the pattern for my necklace. I'm pairing the smaller and larger beads together. Now next I'm going to add my lobster clasp to the main chain and just kind of get that out of the way. I just love these oval jump rings because they mimic the shape of the chain and they look more like a part of the piece than if I had used those traditional round jump rings. After much internal debate, I decided that I'm only going to use 3 links of chain to hang my smaller beads alongside these larger beads. I want these to have kind of a natural clustered look, and if they hang down too far, it's not going to look natural. So I've cut 3 links, and I'm going to hang the smallest bead directly on the end using the looped end of the head pin. And I'll do the same with the other small bead for my center section here. Now I'll connect the entire grouping with one of the oval jump rings. Then I'll use a second jump ring to attach the grouping to the chain. And because of the oval shape of the jump rings, they end up looking like a part of the chain. Now I'll do the same method with each of the other bead groupings. And there we go, this necklace is ready to wear. But wait, don't we need some earrings? Of course we do! I'm going to use 1 large bead and 2 small beads for each earring. And I'm going to hang 2 small beads from a single chain that is 2 links long. So you're going to make 2 of these groupings. Now the largest bead will also hang from a chain with 2 links. So now that I have chain on each of these 3 groupings, I'm going to put them all together. First, I'll use a jump ring to connect the top of the large bead and one of the double groupings. Then I'll add the earring hook to see how it looks. I like that. Now, I'll hang the second bead grouping a little bit lower so that it drapes nicely. Perfect. And here's a still shot so you can clearly see how everything is connected. And here is the finished necklace and earring set. If you enjoyed this tutorial, be sure to subscribe to my channel and join us over in the Paper Bead Fanatics group on Facebook. I'd love to see what you're making.